Thank you guys for coming back and welcome to part 2 for this particular speaking question. So I'm not going to talk too much, it's already taken too long, so let's just get into it right now, part 2 of this speaking question. Alright, so now, preparing your response. So what are you going to do? You're going to report the change, just like a reporter. Okay, so you're going to report the change. Graduation ceremony has changed, right? The person's opinion of the change. How does the woman feel? She doesn't like it, right? The reasons for her opinion. She doesn't like it and she thinks it's a bad idea because they can cut down the number of speeches and also because they can have the ceremony outside. And that's why the woman feels blah, blah, blah. That's the conclusion. All right. And let's look at an example. This is actually a template that you can read on your own. I'm not going to go through each detail of this here, but this is a basic template that you can use. And we'll look at it in use right now. So I'll show you how it looks here. And I'll read a couple of lines from here so you can get an idea of how you should sound. You start with the reading passage. The reading passage announces a change on campus. In particular, so it's always a change on campus, right? You might want to change this if it's a letter. You would change this to something like, the reading passage is a letter that recommends a change on campus. Okay, so slightly different if it's a letter. In particular, the administration has decided to split the graduation ceremony into 2 separate events. Now I transition to the listening. So talk about the reading very little, and now I talk about the listening. The woman in the conversation is against this idea. To start, she says that, and then I say what she says. Okay, and I explain as much as I can, give a lot of details here. And then I move on to my the second reason the woman feels this way. Secondly, she explains that the graduation event should be held outside rather than in the auditorium if the committee is concerned about space. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll keep going with that. As you can see, the woman in the listening clearly disagrees with this plan, and you could pretty much say that anytime it's an announcement. You could also say for the letter, as you can see, the woman in the listening clearly disagrees with the letter's idea. Pretty simple. I know it's a lot of information at once. I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast. There's just a lot of things to talk about, so I just want to make sure that I don't talk too long. I tend to talk too long, so I want to make it short and to the point. But definitely watch this video again if there's some things that you're confused about. No problem, all right? So now you have a tool for self-study. This is basically your grading criteria. This is ETS's grading criteria of the integrated speaking. They basically judge your delivery, which is you speak in a calm, cool, and natural manner, and that's speaking naturally and conversationally. They judge your language use, the kind of vocabulary and grammar that you use, and they judge your topic development. Does it sound like you have a beginning and a middle and an end when you speak? You can read this in more detail on your own, but that's there for you. And this is a checklist for you for the integrated speaking. I'll do it really quickly, just run through each one. Did you speak for 57 to 60 seconds? So you have to speak for 60 seconds for question number 2. Was your introduction 15 seconds or less? Keep it pretty short. Did you have enough time to include a short conclusion? A conclusion is not necessary, but it's nice to put if you have the time. Did I look at the clock to monitor my time at least twice? Time management is a big problem for a lot of students. Try to speak for about 57 to 60 seconds. And one way to do that is to make sure you look at the clock while you speak. Did you include at least 2 transitional words or phrases when you say things like in the reading passage, according to the listening, so to sum up? Those are transitional words and phrases. Make sure that you use them. Did you speak at a smooth and even pace? Try not to say, okay, like, try not to do that. And, and then also, natural, no robot voice. Please don't speak like I am a robot and speak like a human. There's a lot of rules, a lot of things to think about for TOEFL, so a lot of students sound kind of robotic. Try to be smooth, be natural. And yet, did you include all the important information from the reading and listening? All right, so again, couple quick tips. Don't be a robot. You get the point. Don't worry about paraphrasing. So a lot of students feel like they have to say in different words what they heard in the reading, what they heard in the listening. Don't worry about that. You're going to naturally paraphrase when you speak. Don't worry about it at all. Just speak how you naturally do. Always record your responses when you practice. It'll help you judge your speaking. Use that checklist. Also, our website, tstprep.com. We do speaking evaluations. You can always check us out there. All right, so here's my last little tip here is to put yourself in their shoes. In other words, you want to imagine you're the person in the listening. You're the person in the conversation who agrees or disagrees with the reading. And you want to sound like you agree or disagree. So for example, here, the woman disagrees with the idea that the graduation ceremony will be split, right? So if you say, the woman in the passage disagrees for 2 reasons. The first reason she disagrees is, the second reason she disagrees is, not good, not natural, not conversational. Sound like you disagree and you understand her feelings. The woman in the conversation is totally against this idea. First of all, she doesn't understand why they have to have so many speakers. I mean, they could reduce the amount of time by up to 2 hours if they had less speakers. So you see how I tap into that emotion? Do that when you speak. Put yourself in their shoes. All right, so practice, experiment, and think for yourself. Most of your learning is going to come from you not listening to me talk, but actually from you experimenting and trying to do this speaking stuff on your own. And if you need help, tstprep.com, we're there to help. And also make sure you download the complete test. It's free, it should be in the description or somewhere around here, and you could practice these speaking questions on your own. Thank you for staying to the end. There's a million things you could be doing right now. The internet's an amazing place, but you decided to watch this video, so be proud of yourself. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. TOEFL speaking question number 3. All right, I'll see you guys then.